Get your motor running. Head out on the highway, looking for adventure.
Well, it's a beautiful Thursday afternoon, and I'm over here with Dan Vieten. You got a cool little car. What are we driving?
This is a 2003 Mitsubishi Eclipse cheapie car.
How long have you had it?
About 2 weeks. I bought it to teach the girls how to drive a Standard. Now I'm going to sell it. So, yeah. Car's coming.
So how you been doing?
Doing good. Doing good. I figured we'd do a little. Jerry Seinfeld has a show like this where people
I love that
get
show.
interviewing cars. So we figured change the tempo a little bit. So no, we're doing good. Holly and the girls have been home all summer. Kayla came home in March, and Kelly came home in March for spring break, and then went to remote. She's Endicott College.
That's a beautiful college, beautiful area, huh?
Yeah, we've had a few church members go there, I think, in the past. The Warnings.
Yeah, I know one of the.
Oh no, she went to Gordon.
She went to Gordon.
Yeah,
one of the Tomlinsons went there.
Yeah. So it's been a good school, and she's doing overseas in Italy this semester. She just went over there. She's in quarantine right now. They got a quarantine for 14 days. Sorry.
So what will she be studying over there?
Well, she's taken her some of her regular courses, and then she's taken one in Italy that I can't believe I'm paying for it, but it's a wine appreciation course over there. That's the one that stands in my head, and then I forget the name of the other more traditional academics.
Well, Jeffrey Barron, I think he has a minor in brewing from UNH.
Well, that's a.
They didn't have that major when I was in college.
We were all trying to, but we didn't have it official then. Yeah. But, no, and then she'll be there through December 17th or so, and once she's in Italy for 14 days and passes the full quarantine, then she can travel Europe as a European would to certain. I think there's 8 or 10 countries that have open, allow transport between the different countries.
And will you and Holly be able to get over there?
That was a plan originally, but Kelly's got a student visa, which allows her to get in there.
Yep.
Tourists can't go, and we'd be considered tourists. So if it opens up, you know, it's going to be a tough call. We were going to go over Thanksgiving break, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen right now. But we'll see. We'll see how time goes. But we'd like to get a week over there. That was kind of the 3 years we've been planning this, but it is what it is.
And what's Kayla up to?
Kayla is home. She came home. She's working in Manhattan at a marketing job for.
So where did she graduate from?
She graduated from Ithaca College,
Yep.
and she graduated this past May. She got an internship at Oliver Wyman, and then she ended up getting a full-time job out of the internship, which was nice, in Manhattan. She's doing marketing, and she works with people all over the country. I should say all over the world. She reports to a boss in Boston. She works out of New York and has a supervisor in New York, and then she works with other people at that director level in I think San Francisco, Dallas, and England. I think another one of her bosses. So she's very international focused with her job duties, and she's living in Brooklyn in a nice apartment with 3 other girls. But she's been home all summer and paying her rent anyway. But she's doing well.
And how about Holly? She's back in school.
Yeah, Holly's the hardest worker of all in our family right now. School's been, as everybody knows, has had to adapt to a lot, and school's tough enough in good times to try to keep everybody happy because everybody has different ideas of what schools should represent for their kids. And times 10 now with COVID. And Interlake, she's a director of guidance, and they've adapted a pretty flexible school schedule with some people want all remote, some people want in school, and some people want a hybrid, and they're trying to accommodate everybody, and this is the first week, and so far so good as far as I know. She leaves for work at 6 in the morning, she gets home at 5 or so, and she's on the computer till 10 o'clock at night and goes to bed. It's been she had about 4 days off all summer, but she's working hard.
Where did you and Holly meet?
We met at UNH, as a matter of fact. You bring up UNH, and I have a lot of fond memories of there. We met our freshman year, 1983, at UNH. I was from New Jersey. transitioned.
So you moved to Florida for work. What kind of work were you doing?
That was the insurance job. I trained in Rhode Island, and then they moved me to their branch in Tampa. And I was down there for 3 years. And then they transferred me back to Connecticut for a couple of years. And then I decided I wanted to do something I enjoy, like snowmobiling, and get a job in that business. And in 1992, I got a job for Arctic Cat. Did that for quite a few years. Then in 2007, I left there, went to lawn and garden business, a company called Dixie Chopper, and then a year later, my old boss at Arctic Cat called, and he had left and gone to a dock and boat lift company, and I repped them from Ohio to Maine, and then a job opened up back in the snowmobile business. I'm now with BRP, who makes Ski-Doo, Sea-Doo, and Can-Am products.
And how has business been impacted by the COVID-19?
Amazing. In March, I was sweating. I'm a worrier by nature. And in March, everything looked doom and gloom because nobody knew how it was going to go. Mid-April, people realized that all our products had got them outside in the fresh air like this, and they could do it. And they were doing staycations, staying home and trying to do things. And anything with wheels or keels, you couldn't build enough of them. So we ran out of product for watercraft in June, and it's been everything we sell has been more than we can build for the time being. So business is very good at the moment.
When did you move to Guilford?
We moved to Guilford in 1998. We moved in, so 22 years ago, and love it. Yeah.
Always off of Dockham Shore?
Yep, same house. We moved up here, and
Baxter Court?
Yep, Baxter Court, and we've loved our kids. Have known no other house really. Kayla was 2, so she doesn't remember our house in Connecticut, and we've been here for many moons.
How did you find the Guilford Community Church?
I was raised Catholic. Did Saturday night masses, and stood in the back so you could get out of there right after communion and not get caught in the traffic jam leaving. That was my father always said there's nothing worse than a bunch of Catholics getting out of church. So it is a little mayhem when Catholics are leaving. But I was Catholic. Holly was raised Protestant, and when we got married, it was something we had to try to figure out, and we decided let's not go Catholic or Protestant. Let's find a church we both enjoy. So we went to EBC up here for a while in Laconia, which became a restaurant later, but it was EBC. We were there for a while. That church went through a few transitions, and we kind of faded out of that. A lot of good people in the congregation who we stay in touch with here and there. And then we bopped around to a few, and then we had gone to Guilford Community with the prior pastor, and we liked it, but neither of us were really connected. And then when you were there, we went back, I don't know, a year or two. What year did you come?
2002.
2002. I'm going to say we started coming in 05 or so, be my guess, 05, 06. And we just like it. We like a lot of the people in it, the community aspect of it, and it just felt right for our kids at that stage in life, and it was just a good decision for us, and we've enjoyed it.
And you and your family have helped us run the Christmas fair how many years?
I was trying to figure that out. I think it's been 9 years that I did it. It might 8 for sure. It might have been 9. I can't really remember. I should have written that down the first year, but yeah, it was. Holly isn't as visible, but she does a lot more than anybody realizes. I'm not very organized, so Holly does all the organizational things, makes sure that all the announcements are in the bulletin at the right time, and that things are coordinated and people know what they got to do. I'm just kind of the face of it, and then I'm around the week of a lot to try to make sure everything goes as smooth as possible. And this year we were giving it up because we were going to Europe, and we found a new family, which is time for new blood in that. I think I've done everything I can with it. So
now, if I said this to some people, it would be an insult, but you're not half the man you were a year ago.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Tell us about that.
A little more than half, but yeah, for years I've been fighting the bulge, and Mike Huckabee years ago said something that rang in my ears. He lost a lot of weight. The commentator on TV, presidential candidate. He said he lost a lot of weight because he learned if they hand it through your car window, you probably shouldn't eat it. And my lifestyle, I'm on the road 45,000 miles a year. I eat a lot of meals through my car window. And last couple of years, I'm like, I got to do something. Last December, I just said, I'm going to start January 1st. And then week into December, I'm like, yeah, Christmas is going to be a lot of temptation, but it's going to be whether I'm on a diet or not. I might as well be on a diet for the days I can do well and then go through it. So that was the best thing I did because I got through Christmas, I got through December losing a little weight, and then a product called Noom on the internet. It just kept me accountable to myself and counts calories and, you know, monitors exercise. So I've been walking 3 to 4 miles a day, pretty much every day. Some days I've done 6, 7. I did 10 the other day. You know, I've done a couple days of 10 miles walking. My shoes are all worn out, but and it's funny because in January I was like, I got to get to where I can run. And then I realized I hate running, and it was a dread to think I'm going to be running soon. And as soon as I let go of the fact I had to run, walking became a breeze and enjoyable. So I've just been moving and trying not to eat as much, a little better choices of meals, and down over 110, 120 pounds.
You look great.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I don't know about that, but I look better than I did, that's for sure.
You do
So
look really good.
yeah.
So what else have you been doing during this crazy time?
Well, Guilford, one of the things we love is Lake Winnipesaukee.
Yep.
And our kids, no matter what's going on in life, we say we're putting the boat in, and they're there. And
we baptized your girls in the lake.
Oh, we did. That's right. You came down.
That's
right. We came down to the beach and did that. That was very enjoyable. So, Winnipesaukee, even though my dad was from Brooklyn, Winnipesaukee has been part of our family's life since I was born. They started coming up here in the late 50s, and sorry, we got a dump truck coming here. All right, we always used to go to Melvin's Village, and the lake has always been a big part of my life. Holly grew up, had some cabins on the lake. She didn't really boat a lot on the lake, but you know, was always lived around it. And then when we came back here, a few years we didn't have a boat, and then we got a boat in '02, and that's when we have free time, we're out on the lake.
Where do you keep your boat?
Right next to the house. Yeah, we had it at a neighbor's dock down the road from us, and their family got another boat, and we got bumped. And for the cost, I figure it's not that hard to launch it. And
well, you're good with the trailer too.
Yeah, I've done a lot of trailering, that's for sure. So.
Now, did you ever snowmobile with Bill Littlefield?
I did, as a matter of fact. That's how I met him, and that's one of the reasons when we did come here, he came over to me and he recognized me from a demo I did up in Meredith years ago on a snowmobile, and he was probably the guy who made me bond with, and still to this day, I bonded with the most at Guilford Community Church. When a couple years ago, we went up riding together out of Pittsburgh. That's the only time we've ridden together other than a quick jaunt around the lake or something local. But he's a great guy. I really enjoy his
yeah, he's done
company.
some huge trips.
Yeah.
Through Canada.
Yeah. And we had a 5-day trip planned to Canada, and due to some things that came up at the last minute, we couldn't go. But
yeah, he's not doing well. In fact, he just started a hospice.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. So anyone who's watching this, if you want to reach out to Bill and tell him how much you appreciate his friendship and love him, I would do it sooner rather than later.
Okay. That's tough to hear. That's really tough to hear. Well, yeah, that's too bad. So he's got a great attitude towards everything, and can-do attitude on lots of things.
So does Kayla have plans to go back to Manhattan?
As a matter of fact, yeah, Saturday I'll be taking her back, and a friend who's in the neighborhood who also works in New York is ready to go back. She won't be going back to work, to the building at work, but she'll be going back to her apartment where her friends are, and working remotely from her apartment in Brooklyn. Yeah. And like I said, Kelly had just settled it. She got into her apartment in Italy, but she's still on U.S. time, so she's 6 hours off, and it's having tough time adjusting to the schedule. Luckily, she's in quarantine for 2 weeks. She didn't go right into her schoolwork because it would have been really tough for that. But
and I think you told me earlier that when she flew, the plane was really well spaced out.
Yeah, Air France, and she said that they were originally a seat apart, and she was in the row with her roommate. But the actual back of the plane was empty, so after they took off, they all scattered around the plane. Pretty much everybody had their own rows, and they all had to wear masks the whole time. So she felt pretty good through the whole thing. I think it's going to rain.
And so you're going to sell this car?
Yeah. It was only to teach the kids. All summer I told them I'm going to teach them how to drive a Standard because we had an opportunity. I've been looking for cars that kept getting sold from under me, so I bought this at the last minute just because it had a 5-speed, and that's something we don't have room for all winter to store out of the snow. So I'm going to find a new home for it, hopefully here.
Yeah, I mentioned to you that when I met Cindy, she drove some of the time a stick shift, and I can remember a dirt road in Milford, Michigan. She patiently taught me, and fortunately it was a flat road.
Yeah.
Then we bought our daughter Katie a little Escort stick shift, and she was taking it to Amherst, where she went to school, and that's a hilly area. And she called crying one day saying it wasn't going too well, but it ended up working well. It's good to learn how to drive a stick shift.
It is. Although fewer and fewer cars have them now, it's going to be an old art eventually.
And it's fun. It's fun too.
It is. I think it's really fun. So we wanted to get a Jeep with the stick shift, but Jeeps were going for crazy money this summer because of the COVID thing. Again, everybody wanted to get outdoors and open air. So we found this was in the budget, and I thought I could turn it over without taking too big a hit on it. It's fun, right? We're in the open air.
Well, I appreciate you checking in with me.
And I just want to remind everybody, wear your seatbelt.
Yes.
It's important.
I don't think I have mine on.
I just noticed that. I would never even have left the parking lot if I would have noticed it earlier. So we'll pull over up here and we'll fix that.
That sounds good.
All
That
right.
sounds good. Hey, thanks.
Okay. All right. Thanks.